Hi, this is Brad Canham, Dr. Brad Canham with Transformer Insights at the IoT M2M Council booth here at CES with Carmen Redondo, the Director of Global Marketing Antennas at KYOCERA AVX. And we've got we were just talking about this, Carmen, the convergence of 5G, non-terrestrial networks end-to-end, and low power. The world of IoT is, we're getting to the edge of it, and it's starting to actually work. It's fantastic. So you had noted that was part of what kind of made your work with KYOCERA has brought you, and maybe you could fill us in a little bit about what's happening there.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
So, well, thanks for having me, first of all. And so in KYOCERA AVX, we are doing advanced electronic components. So we cover many different things from capacitors, connectors, antennas. And myself, I'm specialized in antennas. So this is the kind of the topic we will focus on in this talk today. So we are working with a lot of IoT companies and, the operators, the hardware manufacturers, module makers. So we put everything together. We validate the devices also. And we are seeing a trend about bring the satellite IoT coming more and more into place. And that's why I thought it was a good topic to discuss today and to see how this is going.
Right. So are there particular use cases that are starting to emerge from this capacity that's growing in IoT?
So the major use cases is especially in the remote areas, because there is a lot of sensors that you can use like in farming, or you can use in global disaster relief, that I will talk about this also at CES, where you can have sensors, in forests, in mountains, where you don't it's not so easy to access to them.
Right.
So thanks to the low power, technologies, you are able to have devices there with a lot of battery life, like 10 years, 15 years. Okay. But of course, in those areas, sometimes they don't have coverage from the terrestrial networks. So that's why the satellite plays a very important role in that.
Okay, right. So when we're talking about kind of the satellite connectivity space, are there, I guess, specific use cases around farming and or disaster relief? Are there nuances in that end-to-end space that make the selection of a vendor or partner especially helpful, or things that you're looking for in that type of relationship?
So there are different type of solutions. So from the manufacturer side, it's very important because it's not only about placing the antenna and it will work. You need to verify, and to verify you need to check the whole connectivity of the device. So for that we have the capability, like chambers around the world, where we can do measurements, we can also do field testing, and this is very important to make sure you have connectivity, because if you have a device which is not optimal, then you will lose. Even if you optimize, everybody looks at the low power modules and optimize all the losses in the device, but if you have a bad antenna and you lose all your power there, you won't be able to, you will run out of battery, because you will keep sending messages if you don't have good connectivity. So this is something that we can bring the value, because we have the capabilities to verify the performance of the device.
That makes a lot of sense to me. So you have, you also have kind of a monitoring aspect that keeps track of.
We validate the devices, So when they place it in the network, we make sure that they are working. The customer will be happy.
Okay, so that's part of the development cycle with the various channels that you're working with. Any developments in those channels that are especially interesting these days, or you're seeing a movement? KYOCERA's AVX is seeing a movement?
In IoT, there's so many different type of applications. But what I talk is the sensors. I think the sensors is a hot topic where we have more and more in this capability. We have in our booths and examples, like for example, a sensor that can measure, with a radar the depth of the water. So you can, for avoiding flooding, they can also check the pressure, for example, of the soil, so you can detect if an earthquake is going to come. So there's many type of sensors that I think is helping a lot the world, let's say.
Right. Yes. Anything to do with physics, you can measure. Right.
Yes.
Anything to do with physics. And you and I touched on earlier some of the kind of the vision of where all this is going, and your special interest and expertise, certainly in antennas. Do you have anything you kind of want to, lay out? I mean, it's the beginning of the year, right? 2024. Where you see maybe this particular aspect headed?
So talking about this topic, because there are different type of solutions. There are NTN, as we discussed. We are also based on LoRaWAN as well, like for example, EchoStar Mobile.
Sorry. Sure. Yeah.
So all these technologies, I think some of them are already deployed, but they are not fully deployed. The satellite communications. My vision is that there will be a big advancement on these technologies, and the goal of the vision is to have 100% coverage. So you will have your IoT device, you will place it wherever it is, and you don't need to think, is it terrestrial, is satellite? Your device will just connect and will work. So that's, I think, everybody, the operators, everybody's working on that to make this happen, to make it smart, and to make sure that the users, they don't think about it, they just connect and everything will be simple. So
Well, that's what we're all kind of wired to look for, is we just want things to work. But behind the scenes, folks like Carmen Redondo at KYOCERA AVX is working on making that invisible network kind of just work for us. But thank you so much, Carmen. That was a great conversation. Thanks for filling us in on kind of where KYOCERA AVX is headed. I really appreciate it. Thank you so
very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you.